probably 20 years. Bring gas.
Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
Lifestyle was very much turned upside down last night by the events. Paycom Center, OKC, with the Thunder taking a 2-0 lead over the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals. Of course, Dex, we will not be doing a depressing pie chart. Instead, what we have your feedback on this basketball team. And so with Phil out still, he'll be back. We'll do our post-game show Saturday without Phil. He'll be back on Monday for the post-game show. But without further ado, give me the feedback on the Timberwolves.
All right, so I took a look at the YouTube comment section this morning, polled some of mostly scathing and angry Wolves fans, but some other things as well. Hit the like button, subscribe button here too. I know the Wolves are down 2-0, but we've had a great run here of Timberwolves podcast, and you guys have supported the show, so thank you so much if you haven't already. Or if you're an OKC fan who also likes Timberwolves content, and you're not here just to troll, or maybe you are here to troll, we do appreciate a like and subscribe. The first comment here from Didi, who says, the offense sucks. Everyone's standing around at the three-point line. No one moving or cutting. Just waiting for whoever has the ball to drive and kick it out. Then no one there to rebound if the three-point shot misses. Almost every single possession, it's the same thing. If Gobert is to rebound OKC, just put two guys on him to box him out. And again, no one to rebound if the three-point shot misses. Are there no other plays they can run? How much of this is Chris Finch having, quote-unquote, no plays he can run, Judd, but also just, I just keep coming back to this. OKC is just really good and a lot better than the Wolves. Look, the Wolves might be able to steal a game here. I don't like their chances, but I think OKC is just too much of a juggernaut here for the Wolves to try to figure out.
Boy, first of all, no, Chris Finch has more plays. There's no question about that. We've seen him. But I just come back to, if you want to put something on the Wolves from these two games, I think it's the third quarter collapses in both cases, which was a problem. And I think it's the reality that your execution pretty much stinks. And I think we're talking about that here too. I think Didi's note is talking about that. But the execution has not been, like, when you're playing a team this good, you can't afford mistakes. And I know that you're going to make some, but you can't make a bunch. And it feels like the Timberwolves are continually far too often in this series shooting themselves in the foot. Now, they might have done the same against the Lakers and the Warriors, but guess what? Those teams weren't as good. So you could afford that. So, yes, OKC is great. I agree with you completely there. But I also think that if you look at the first half of both games, and hell, if you look at the fourth quarter in game two, Timberwolves were in those games. Down by 8 after the half in game 2, up by 4 after the half in game 1, and then last night they rallied. Now, they were behind by a lot, so that changes things clearly. But that being said, if I'm down on the Wolves and Chris Finch, it's more for just the overall execution of what they can do and allowing themselves to, at times, have the terms dictated to them completely. OKC is really good. I don't think they should be this much better than you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're a really good team, but I think that the third quarter in game 2 to me is inexcusable.
Bill Simmons, I saw late last night, was comparing, some of the best teams of all time, teams in terms of just go with record, and teams that went on to win the NBA title too, not teams that missed their shot. And the Warriors have a shot here to be historically great. I know they went 7 games against Denver, but they have a chance here to be one of the most successful win-loss teams, including playoff, the 16 wins required to make the NBA championship. It's just, and I think he used the term bulldozing. They are bulldozing their way into being legitimately one of the best and most successful teams that we've ever seen, which everyone thought the Thunder would be good. I don't think anyone saw the Thunder basically have their way with the Wolves. They were underdogs. The Wolves were going into this series.
Right.
I don't know if most people would have said, hey, they're going to win both games by, they're going to outscore the Wolves by almost 50 points in the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah, I guess my problem is this. You also are allowing yourself to be bulldozed, though, and there have been there have been stretches of time where you're not. And so the question is, like, in the third quarter, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Like, they go on a run, I get it, and that's great, but that's what they do, and you've got no punch. And Denver did, Denver did extend them. Now we'll see when the series comes back here on Saturday. If the Wolves can slow that, home court might help. I have no idea. But yeah, I give a lot of credit to the Thunder, but I also think the Wolves deserve a large portion of blame because this is not a Western Conference Finals type team the way that the Wolves are playing right now.
Thomas says, I just don't think Minnesota fans realize how good OKC is. They are the next dynasty team. Such a deep bench, so many good defensive players. GM, as in Tim Connelly, needs to construct T-Wolves to beat OKC. If this is the gentleman's sweep, if this is a regular sweep, I do wonder if, like, hey, what the Wolves do, find a way to punch back, and this baby does go 7 games, and the Wolves fall in that 7th. Regardless, Tim Connelly always has a move up his sleeve that we have no idea what's coming, man. And we can come up with great lists. I'm actually certain of this that when Phil is we're gonna probably do an off-season episode of 5 guys that you don't think the Wolves can target that Tim Connelly can target, right? Like, we can try to figure out that list. Mm-hmm. There's no shot that Tim Connelly's not watching this series already formulating those plans and having something contingency plans in place to say, all right, we made it this far, just like you did 2 years ago against Memphis. We made it this far. We have to do this. We made it this far with Cat. We have to do that. I would bet good money Connelly already is circulating those plans, even though there's still a lot of series left here.
Well, and I don't think this changes how well he played after he came back from injury. I believe it was at the beginning of March, and how well he played in the first 2 rounds of the series is against the Lakers and Golden State. But, the fact that you benched Julius Randle for the 4th quarter last night can't be ignored completely. So, yes, it is going to be, you don't want to overreact, but this is so far through 2 games. If this continues, you certainly have to do something. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, and I mean, the name that's going to come up now again, if the Wolves do go out in 4 or 5, is Durant. So there's going to be a lot of interesting conversations had here. But this is the first series that makes you look in the mirror and say, okay, something's not necessarily right if we're going to if we're going to beat them. So Tim Connelly, yeah. I'm sure that he is. I'm sure he's looked and seen this, and he is probably going to have something. There's going to be a counter of some sort, and also then the question becomes, who do you keep? Do you try and keep Nas? Do you try and keep Nah? Nah played well last night, but in the playoffs he's not been good. There's just, yes, this makes you question things that you probably didn't expect to have to question this quickly after you won 2 rounds of playoffs.
Jesse says they need a point guard or a center who are a real scoring threat, and right now we have neither. Build this around Ant, Jaden, and Julius. I thought Mike, even though he didn't, obviously, just 2 points last night, he didn't have an effective night shooting, but he was this steady, calm presence that when he was on the court, and I think John Krasinski tweeted this out late last night after postgame as well, that when he is off the court, the Wolves are severely being outscored. Now, again, Mike is not the player he was in Memphis. He's not the player that he even was in Utah much anymore, but he is a steady veteran point guard. But, I mean, do they need even let's call it this. They need a backup point guard that gives them stability off the bench and a scoring threat, and that also probably isn't a complete sieve. Like, hey, Dillingham had some nice little cool moments at times this season, but he's not ready defensively. He'd get cooked against OKC. And on Gobert, just my a half-brained idea here. His, again, defensive prowess, I think you have to take some of the offensive lapses. But are those 2 positions at the top and the bottom of your rotation that kind of lack a significant scoring punch right now? Yeah, that's creating some problems too.
On the point guard, make no mistake, Mike Conley, 3 points last night. Mike Conley should not be your starting point guard next season. This is not like some hot take. Look at his age. he is on a cliff. I don't know if he's at the very edge, but he damn close. Mm-hmm. So if Dillingham is your guy, you're going to have to play him, and you're going to have to allow him to play. If he's not, you're going to have to go get one. You need more guys that can handle the ball. To see the Wolves, the problem is Mike Conley, and we talked about this before the series because of the amount of times that OKC turns you over. Mike Conley's the only guy that doesn't look like he is on the precipice of a nervous breakdown, bringing the ball up the floor, because he is a true point guard. So you need a point guard, you need a backup. Now, if Dillingham is one of those, problem solved. But then you got to play him. You can't not play him. Like, I get why he doesn't play now. But, we can't. He's a first-round pick. He's a top 10 pick. We can't go into year 2 of, well, we still can't play him. You either got to make the decision that he can play or not. If you don't think he can start, you got to go get one. I'm not saying there's no place for Mike. I think he's loved. I think he can still do some things well. But if Mike Conley is your starting point guard at the beginning of next season at his age, Dex, you have dropped the ball. And I'm going to say Tim Connelly, he might do some things wrong, but he's also made a lot of good decisions. And I would say that he has never been a guy that looks like he rests on his laurels of saying, we love Mike. Mike is our guy. So that has to be fixed, I think.
On Jesse's point of build this around Ant, Jaden, and Julius. And I know we talked about no one is safe, and Connelly always has a move up his sleeve. Outside of Ant, who I am going to say is untouchable. Like, I know we saw Doncic traded for Anthony Davis.
No, I agree. Yeah, he's not getting traded.
He's not getting traded. Who is the second guy behind Anthony Edwards in your mind that you would be upset or surprised maybe that the Wolves would move on from? Who is the Robin that you say you put in the untouchable bin with Ant? Is it Jaden? Is it Julius after this playoff run? I know he was on the bench last night, but who is that second guy here?
No, well, the one that would surprise me most is Jaden. No one else would surprise me. Jaden would surprise me, but I would not be upset. If Jaden was the key to completing a deal, and I like him, and I think he brings a lot. So I would guess he's 2, but just to be clear from my standpoint, Dex, I would put nobody else in that bin where it's like, oh my God, you traded Jaden McDaniels. Now I think you all should be fired. So he would be my second guy. But if Ant is in the bin, if Ant is in my shopping cart, like I'm going to buy Ant. Jaden is in my hand, and I'm trying to decide, should I put him back? Should I not put him back? Should I put him back? But I'm not putting him in my cart.
It's there might be a guy in this show who likes to buy some sports cards, and there's times where do I hold on to this guy for a little longer to increase the value before I flip it, or should I take the price right now?
You like to buy sports cards not because you love the sports cards. You're a flipper. You're like a house flipper.
I should do. There's certain advertisements, and now guaranteed cash offer for this card. That is that might be my new
guaranteed offer
card. Oh man. Some more feedback here. Let's go to Path here. Path on YouTube says, everyone needs to chill. The Wolves' problem is shooting. You got to hit your open threes or you lose. That don't mean come down and shoot at will. They took too many tough shots. That's not winning basketball. Work it around. Play with all 5. Make them work on their end. One fatal flaw is pace. They need steals, even transition buckets to beat this team. If it gets ratcheted up at target center or they look to next year, they've shot lights out before. They can do it again. We're not done yet. Can they even compete in transition with the Thunder?
That's the problem right now. They sure don't look like they can. Now, can they at home? I don't know. I have no idea, but it sure doesn't seem like it. Like if everything he just said. So this goes back to what we talked about last night on the postgame show with Kyle as well. Everything he just said is what OKC dictates to you. That's the problem. You can't have everything gets like last night. Finally, Eureka. Guess what? The Wolves were like, well, OKC likes to take away the paint, but tonight we're going to go into the paint. Well, yeah, you need to go into the paint. You can't sacrifice the paint. But it's funny because everything that he just pointed out is what OKC is dictating. So it's more like Yeah, if you can get those things, like if you can start to control those things with them, you're going to win basketball games. This thing might go 7, but unfortunately, that's not been the case. And I think that this goes into the flow at least through the first 2 games, and the Wolves aren't dictating nearly enough. And I'll go back to last night, Dex. It was the first, second, and fourth quarters were pretty hard fought. Mm-hmm. The third quarter was an inexcusable mess. Like it was not a beatdown. Last night was not a beatdown. Heck, game 1 was not. It was 2 quarters. So yeah, how do you get control? How do you slow them? And this is a lot of things. It's your play, it's coaching, it's a lot of things. And I will be curious to see on Saturday if you have any type of answer, at least at home, for what OKC was doing so well in large spurts in those first 2 games.
Another one here. Wolves have too many consistent offensive liabilities in Gobert, Conley, McDaniels, and Nah. Good players who can't be counted on to make shots. If Ant, Randall, Reed, and Dante are having a bad night, it's a wrap against good shooting teams. Simple and expected against OKC. They need better shooters next season. Having the combination of Dante, Nah on the court together, oh man, like I don't know. I know Nah was really good last night, so I should put
he
some
and Jane
respect.
were really good.
Yeah,
together,
I put some respect on Nah's name for last night. He was really good.
Nas has not hit a 3-point shot yet.
Yeah.
So let's not try and put him with the good. I mean, yes, when he's going well, he's fantastic. But I mean, Nas Reed is killing you right now from a 3-point standpoint.
Yeah, and I mean, and could they use a new shooter or 2? Yeah, but like what, over the last 3 months they were one of the 2 teams that were top 10 in offensive and defensive rating. I don't know if they need better shooters. Do you think they need more dead-eye shooters, or is this just being flustered by a really good defensive team?
Yeah, I think the fact that the Thunder plays at the pace that they do, and they allow you 3-point shots, but they speed you up a lot.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, let's go back to the entire playoffs. Dante DiVincenzo's been terrible. He's been awful. And you have to get something from him, and he gives you 3-pointers here and there, but it's nothing like what we expected. So, but do I think that you need to overhaul your shooters? I don't see that happening. And I think if you're going, don't forget too, next season, go look at the entire box score of these games. Look at the DNP CDs. You've got guys who are going to have to play too. So this is not all done through trades. Like Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to need to play. Jalen Clark, who is a hell of a defender, but he can shoot a little bit, is going to need to play. Your guy Dillingham probably needs to play. So I understand the complaint. I don't disagree. But OKC is doing something that most teams don't do, which is playing a style of defense that quite frankly reminds me at times of a college style. And second of all, I think that you've got an issue here too for the future where you are going to see some natural change, and some guys who are in or with the team right now are also going to rise up and play more. Can that help you? I don't know, but I get the complaints. I get all the complaints.
A couple more pieces here on this Feedback Friday on Flagrant Howls, but Judd, let's talk about Neos Elite. If you're an athlete, if you're a Wolves bench player and you're not finding your shot, what type of boost could they use right now as they get back from OKC?
Better yet, if you're Mike Conley and you're old and you need to, and like your knees hurt, let's say your body hurts, let me refer you, Mike, to my friends at Neos Elite Performance, because if chronic pain is holding you back, they have cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy that's going to get you going again, and it's going to get you going without invasive procedure. That's right. We're not talking about trips to the doctor's office. We're not talking about like time in a hospital. Neos is going to come to you. They're going to get you going again. They're going to restore your function. So I don't know if you used to love to golf 18 and now you can't. If you used to go out and shoot hoops and now you can't, Neos Elite is going to make sure that you can. And if you, when you contact them, reference our flagship show, Purple Daily, you're going to get $500 off a cellular IV therapy treatment. No surgery, no downtime, just results. Check out their website, neoselite.com, Neos, Neos Elite.com, and find out how you can get back in the game.
And then, I know want some delicious barbecue?
Oh.
What else should they have, man? I mean, we're heating up here, summertime.
Yep.
What's a good barbecue joint?
I got one word for you. Brisket. You like a good brisket? I love a good brisket, and it's hard to find. So yes, the place that you definitely want to check out, it's right there. Safe Side Barbecue, the best barbecue food truck in the West Metro. Absolutely outstanding. 100% wood-fired smoking for juicy, savory, tender meat. No electronic smokers or ovens are used. Everything is homemade. The bread is made to order for sandwiches. Find them at safesidebbq.com and on Facebook for where the truck will be next. And also, pro tip, if you go and find the truck, you do not have to buy from the place that you go to. So it's not like you're obligated to go inside and get a drink. You don't have to. They certainly encourage you to. But Safe Side BBQ, go right up to that truck. You get lunch, dinner, absolutely outstanding. Again, the best barbecue food truck in the West Metro. SafesideBBQ.com. Find out where that food truck is going to be next. Brisket is the word of the day.
Before we took a pause there, you mentioned rotation stuff, and Hoops DWJ on YouTube says we need to put Clark, or Shannon in the starting lineup for Conley. Conley is getting cooked by J-Dub on defense. Also, Rudy is horrendous, and so is Dante. I don't know if Conley's going to be benched. I'd be pretty surprised by that, but unless the Wolves come out in Game 3, guns a-blazing, and they got their foot on cruise control, and they have the Thunder on the ropes early, which is still, don't count your chickens yet. I'd be shocked if a Jalen Clark or a Terrence Shannon Jr. in Game 3 is not used, if this has been the same script that it was in Games 1 and 2. I
agree.
Chris Finch might put out Dante or Nas and stuff like he usually does in the first pause, but I'd be shocked if Jalen Clark or Terrence Shannon Jr. do not get run at some point in Game 3.
Okay, so you brought up, the Conley plus minuses before. I don't think Mike's going to play more, but I don't think Mike gets benched. Like, I think Mike is going to play what Mike plays. And I think that Finch has some backing from the stats that he's not being cooked like it might appear to some. That being said, the one guy who I guess I have major question marks about as far as playing time goes, unfortunately, because I like him, is Dante. So if we're talking about somebody having, and keep in mind too, ladies and gentlemen, Julius Randle was benched for the fourth quarter. So Chris Finch, the gloves are off. Like, it's one thing for Gobert not to get back in because you're trying to find ways to be faster and generate offense. And Gobert, you could sort of explain it. Yeah, he's benched, but you can sort of be like, okay, he's benched, and it's sort of surprising, but it's not. Julius Randle sitting for the entire quarter, I thought was a statement. So if there's one guy that I fully expect is going to suffer the wrath of Chris Finch's use of minutes on Saturday, unless he comes out and plays well, is Dante. I don't think you can afford to have him playing the way he's playing. That's where I think you find different guys, potentially. Because it feels like with what his struggles, which are not new, like the Nas thing, you can say, okay, he was fine until this series. Can he shoot his way out of this problem? DiVincenzo has given you a body of playoff work to make you skeptical. So that's the one that I would expect you might see. You know, I'm not saying he's a DNP coach's decision. I am saying would not be shocking to pick up the box score and see that his minutes on Saturday have shrunk. Conley, I think, still plays as much, and I think he starts. And I think Finch will back that up by saying you might not like him, but one, he's the only guy who remains calm in the face of the OKC defensive pressure. And two, I don't know that the statistics of what he's doing on the floor beg for him to be benched. Mm-hmm. Might be wrong, but that's how I feel.
One last one here from JMF, who says, I hate to be negative, but I'm starting to feel like last year's Western Conference Finals was our chance to make the finals for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I said this last night. I thought last year was more difficult because it's like, oh man, you lost this game by this, Doncic hit this shot, Kyrie hit that shot. The Mavs being big inside impacted you, which again, this is the second consecutive series that you've got that you're going, or I'm sorry, this is the second consecutive Western Conference Finals that you've got some big men inside and in Chet Holmgren's case outside that you don't know how to handle. But yeah, through 2 games, just as far as the final scores go, this feels way more like domination. To your point, OKC's just better than you. Dallas, I think you came away saying those were some tough losses, and you lost in 5, so it wasn't good, but you lost some close games. So I get that now, but that doesn't make it excusable for the future to be like, well, that's it now. So to go back to what you talked about earlier in the show, the key now is the counterpunch of how you find to come back. If nothing else, next season.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game in Game 3. You're gonna be at Target Center. Kyle will be at Target Center. We'll still be live tomorrow night. Do we have a start time? Is it a 7:30 game?
Everything is 7:30, I think,
right
until
now.
Game 7, which we're not going to have to worry about at this point.
Wow.
Well, we're not.
Yeah, 7:30 tip on ABC on Saturday.
Yeah, so it'll be 7:45.
Yeah, 7:40. Actually, you know what? 7:48.
7:48. They're all tipping. They're all not coming close. Not like on purpose. They're all scheduled for 7:30 and tipping well after 7:30.
Right. All right, well, hit the like button and subscribe button here on Flagrant Howls. Go check out our Game 2 recap with Kyle from late in the night on Thursday. Yeah, and we'll be live right here on this YouTube channel, and we'll be posting it on the Flagrant Howls podcast feed right afterwards on Saturday evening. Flagrant Howls, this is your favorite Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.